Hey students, today we're going to be doing a video lesson on 10,000s and 100,000s. Now you know that throughout this year we've talked about place value, and in place value so far we've talked about ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and then we briefly talked about 10,000s, right? But if we wanted to keep going, we could do 10,000s and then 100,000s. Now, obviously, it continues on, right, where you go past that. However, we're just going to stop there, and we're going to just look at 10,000s and 100,000s today, so that while you're in fourth grade next year, which is awesome, congratulations, you're almost to fourth grade, but when you're in fourth grade next year, you're going to be seeing 10,000s, 100,000s, and even into the millions, okay, and even the 100 millions. And so we're going to just look at 10,000s and 100,000s, remembering that place value means that you're finding not the value of the digit, but what place that digit is in. Okay, so for example, whenever we look down here, or you'll look to the side of me at my iPad screen or my math journal, and you'll see a few different numbers or digits, okay? The first one, okay, that you see is a 5. Everybody say 5. Very good. All right, now I could write this 5 in written form, and the standard form here is just the digit, right, of 5. Okay, very good. So we have 1, 5, all right, or 5 ones. Okay, so we're going to say we have 5 ones. That's right, we have 5 ones, right? If I were to just sort of break apart 5, I could break it up and say I have 2 ones plus 3 ones is 5. I have 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 to be 5 ones. I could do 1, 1 times 5 is 5 ones, right? I could do any of those, right, to sort of understand the materials that compose this digit of 5, but in particular, it is in the ones place, okay? Now, here's the deal though. If I were to add a 0 to that 5, I would then have the number 50. That's right, 50. And I could write that in the written form, 50, right, F-I-F-T-Y, or I could just keep it in its standard form, which means that I've used the digits 5 and 0. 5 in the tens place and 0 in the ones place to make the number 50. Now I could also expand this out, right? In the sense that I could do 5 tens plus 0 ones to get 50, right? I could even continue on and do 500, right? Adding another 0, where I have a 0 in the ones place, a 0 in the tens place, and then a 5 in the hundreds place to make 500. Meaning that if I expanded this out, I would just have 500s, which makes up the number 500. Well, if I added another 0, it would then become 5,000. I have a 5 in the thousands place, a 0 in the hundreds place, a 0 in the tens place, and then a 0 in the ones place to make the number 5,000. I could expand it even further, right, by doing 50,000, as you can see right here. Okay, 50,000. My Apple Pencil's dead. Let me put it in my iPad real quick. Okay, so when we look at 50,000, right, I have a 5 in the 10,000s place, and then a 0 in the thousands place, a 0 in the hundreds place, a 0 in the tens place, and a 0 in a ones place to make the number 50,000. And if I added another 0 at the end, I would get 500,000, where my 5 would move from the 10,000 place, like it was in 50,000, to the 100,000 place, like it is here in 500,000. Okay, so that is an exhaustive way of basically showing you, right, that as you add these different place values, right, your number is going to change. So if I keep adding 0 after after 5 ones, okay, that 5 is no longer going to be in the ones place. In fact, it's going to shift over, and indeed that's what happens. Okay, that's exactly what happens, right? We've got a 5, 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000. Will you say those with me? 5, 50, 500, 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000. Okay, very good. All right, so when we look at 5, 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000, and then 500,000, remember that 5 is just moving places, right? Or place value, okay? So the value of that digit is going to be different, and the place value is going to be different. Here, let's look at the 5 here. It's ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. right? And so every time that 5 shifts over, right, and gets a new place value, but also a different value. Here the value is 5. Here the value is, here the value is 50. Here the value is 500. Here the value is 5,000. Here the value is 50,000. And here the value is 500,000. Okay, now if I were to take the number 593,324, all right, can you say that with me? 593,324. Okay, 593,324. Well, if I took that and I was asking for what the place value is for each of these digits, as you can see right here, okay, what am I asking? Well, I'm asking for you to identify, all right, the place value, or for example, not the value of the digit, right, but the place value. So is it in the hundreds? Is it in the tens? Is it in the ones? Is it in the 100,000s, right? You tell me. Well, let's go ahead and start with the 5. Well, the 5 in this number, 593,324, is in the 100,000s place. Okay? The 9 is in the 10,000s place. The 3 is in the thousands place. The next 3 is in the hundreds place. Good. And the the 2 is in the tens place. And the 4 is in the ones place. So this would be the place value. So if I said, what's the place value of the 9, you would say 10,000s. If I said, what's the place value of the 5, you would say 100,000s. Okay? If I said, what's the place value of the 4, you would say ones. All right? Now, what about the value? What about the value? Well, if we look at this first one, first digit in our number 593,324, the digit 5's value is 500,000. That's right, because the 5 is in the 100,000s place, so the value is 500,000. What about the 9? Well, it's 90,000, because the 9 is in the 10,000s place. We have 9 10,000s, okay? And then the 3 right here is got a value of 3,000. The next 3 has a value of 300, and the 2 has a value of 20, and the 4 has a value of 4. So if I wanted to, I could even ask you to write 593,324 in expanded form. And expanded form would literally just be 500,000 plus 90,000 plus 3,000 plus 300 plus 20 plus 4. And that would be the expanded form of this number here, 593,324. So this is the expanded form. And remember, this right here is the standard form. Okay? And then the other form would be the written form, where it would actually write out 593,324. Okay? Certainly a number that I'd like to see on a check given to me one day. All right? Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these 3 problems for us here. Okay, now what we're going to do, right, is we want to make sure, okay, that we understand basically the number line. Okay, so when I look at number 1, which is 17,120, can you say that with me? 17,120. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let's start from left to right, talking about place value. Okay, let's start from left to right, talking about place value. All right, what is the place value of this 1? Very good, 10,000. What is the place value of this 7? Thousands place. Very good. What about this 1? Hundreds. Good. And this 2? Tens. Very good. What about this 0? Ones. Very good. Okay, so we have the number 17,120. 17,120. Now, I can break this out again, not just by place value, but also by value. What is the value of this 1? 10,000. What is the value of this 7? 7,000. What is the value of this one? 100, and this 2, 20, and this 0, 1, or well 0. It's in the ones place, it's 0. Okay, so we have 17,120, right? Well, if I found this on the number line between, let's say we did from, you could do anything with the number line, but let's say I did 0 to 20,000. I'm not going to find the exact place, but I just want to begin to think, okay, if I look at this number line, I know the middle would be what? Very good, 10,000. I know the middle, or about the middle, would be about 10,000, okay? Or, well, the exact middle between 0 and 20,000 is 10,000. But what I mean is my timeline doesn't have to look perfect, or my number line doesn't have to look perfect, right? And so where would 17,120 be roughly on this number line? Would it be in between 0 and 10,000, or in between 10,000 and 20,000? I know that I could even find a midpoint between 10,000 and 20,000, right? Which would be 15,000. All right, well, 17,120 in between 10,000 and 15,000, or 15,000 and 20,000. Well, very good. It's between 15,000 and 20,000. Well, I could find another midpoint in between 15,000 and 20,000. I could do 17,500. So I'm going to do that. That doesn't have to be perfect, but let's say that this is 17,500. Okay, so very good. Where might you find then 17,120? Well, you'd probably find it about right here. So our number, 17,120, would probably be found in this area on our number line. Now, it's not perfect, okay, but it does help us see, okay, great. I know where this is on the number line, because then I could ask you, I want you to round 17,120 to the nearest thousands place. I want you to round 17,120 to the nearest thousands place. Okay, well, that's pretty tricky, right? But what I can do, right, is I can take I can take the 7. I know that it's in the thousands place, and then I look at the value before. Well, it's a 1, so I know that I'm not going to round up to 18,000, and I know that I'm not going to round down. I'm not going to round up to 18,000, but I do know that I can stay at 17,000, right? So I'm going to be about 70,000. Now, what if I said I'd like for you to round 17,120 to the nearest 10,000s place? Well, that would be either 10,000 or 20,000. Well, is 17,120 closer to 20,000 or 10,000? Well, all you got to do is you look at your number line here, and you know that's closer to 20,000, so we know that 17,120 would round to 20,000. Okay, let's look at another one really quick. Okay? Let's look at, let's actually just do this third one here, okay? Because we're running out of time. Let's look at this third one. 135,100. Can you say that with me? 135,100. 135,100. All right. Now, what's the place value of the 1? 100,000. Very good. Place value of the 3. 10,000. Very good. 5. Thousands place. Very good. 1. Hundreds place. Very good. And then this is the tens place and the ones place. Okay, very good. All right, now if I wanted to do a timeline, or not a timeline, excuse me, a number line from 100,000 to 200,000. So essentially, what I'm saying is I want to create a midpoint. It doesn't have to be perfect, but my midpoint would be 150,000. Very good. And I know that 135,000 is between 100 and 150,000. So I'm going to say it's about right here. Okay? So when I think about, let's say I said, can you please round 135,100, okay, to the nearest 100,000s place, okay, you would know that it's closer to 100,000 than it is to 200,000, okay? So that's how you look at place value and round as well, okay? All right, very good. All right, that's a helpful exercise for us. Make sure to do your best on the worksheet that is attached to this video lesson. See you later.